Sit down, and I will sing a song in the key of flesh to tell a melody that speaks of blood. Blood owed and paid and bartered and weighed. 'Tis a tale to the tune of Jack the Guileless. He woke one barren day and knew his time had come, as it had to all boys his age, and he must visit a father. He chose Father Ephraim, as the wind spoke well of him, and Jack knew him to be the best of the black-hearted, to whom Jack owed half his lot. The sun was high that day, and so Jack measured out 3 thimblefuls of toll blood, so that he may dream-walk the salt fields before the sun grew bold enough to creep closer. So Jack came upon the Hall of the Torch, where the doors welcomed his blood kind, and the dark was mercifully soft. As he walked the long hall, he saw the form of Father Ephraim adorn the largest chair. Father Ephraim was the 3rd largest of the elder gods, and his counterpart was Mother Mikrai. When they had been told to gather the seeds of all the plant kind in the world, the father had known his soft way would work, and his silver tongue and guiles had paved and charted a road that led him to bed all the plants in the world. But Mother Mikrai was not nearly so soft, and she charted the path of domination, so raped the plants for their seeds. So the 2 old gods returned to the new gods, having finished their task. The new gods know not justice, they sook balance, which is what gods call justice when they speak through the mouths of men. And in balance they struck down the pair for their hubris. For every seed Ephraim gained, he would gain in power, but contract a disease, until his power was for naught because his mortality was too great to venture beyond his halls. And Mother Mikrai became less killable for every seed she gained, and she shed her mortality, but she was stripped of her power until her strength was too diminished for her to venture anywhere. "Father Ephraim," asked Jack, "do you know what it is that I want to do?" Jack the Guileless wished to kill time. You see, in this place Jack lived, there were 2 times. One is the time you know that marches on regardless, Father Time, but he is second to Mother Minute, whose time depends on where you are, woven as it is to the 3rd dimension. Jack the Guileless had once walked to the place he would spend the rest of his life. He had met himself there at the end of his own days, and he had told himself that he must release himself before his 3rd and final visit. The only way to release himself from a forever spent in that hell was to kill Mother Minute, as she had her chains round Father Time. "You will need my help," said he who was Father Ephraim, "but I cannot yet leave without help. Go to my soul sister, Mother Mikrai, and skin her. Then I may wear her as my coat, for her skin made her unkillable, and should I wear it, it can shield me from death and his embrace, so that I may walk with you. How do I skin her if her skin is impenetrable?" Try as she might, she could not scorn her mortal heart. If you can coax her to let her heart show, you can cut her from there. This is one of the cosmic ironies that the gods call blood sport when they speak through tongues of men. And so Jack measured his toll blood, and set off to Mother Mikrai, who rests under the gaze of Mars the Avenger in the sky. And he arrived to her. She might have killed him if she could move, but she could do naught but listen, so he talked. He told the mother of all the things he did not know, and it took a new god's blink because there was much he did not know. While he tells her these, I will tell you things I do know. Let me sing of souls, of gods and humans. See, the forces in the beginning, when there was no such thing as beginnings, gave birth to the old gods, who gave rise to humans, who gave rise to the new gods, who were merciless and cruel, and gave birth to no one. Chief among the new gods were time, and they had always existed, and with time came death, a new force. Forces have no soul, and are not tied to time. Old gods do have souls, though. The thing that differs gods from humans is that a human soul is fundamentally indivisible, but a god's is not. Gods can be in several places, or times at once. Humans cannot exist between times because time changes them into a new person. So if they met someone who was them, they would never be them because they would have changed. Gods cannot change, and so meet themselves across time. And if you can meet yourself, you know it is destined to happen. So gods are bound by fate and destiny, and humans are not. And humans cannot act on gods while unbound by fate. If they choose to travel with gods, they become gods themselves, bound by fate, and so they are a new god. But if they choose God, if they chose to have a fate, that means they have always had a fate, and as such were fated to choose fate, and never really had a choice at all. Which, in another irony of the gods, means that between choosing to live with humans and choosing to live with fate, only one of the choices was ever even a choice at all, which is not much of a choice in the end. But what of the blood I promised? Blood money. This term sings a different song in Jack's world than it does in yours. Blood, in the land of the gods, is a currency. The currency of magic. Just as money is paper with a promise to mean something, blood is also a promise. But by now, gentle friends, Jack had finished telling Mother Meekrai all the things he did not know. So we will continue with them.